in itself is the first of its kind. And by the time I'm done, you will realize why I'm saying this. So it is already, because as I said, you've been part of the project. This is the world's first content marketplace that is powered by blockchain. And the big idea, some of you have already understood, some of you are trying to get a grasp of it. The big idea is that we are actually using content, right? And when I say content, content is just not content. Content is the biggest asset that the world has. People believe that real estate is an asset. People believe that stocks are an asset. We believe that content is the biggest asset in this world. And we are the first people who are actually tokenizing content in this manner. And this is a revolution. We are creating ecosystem. We believe that this ecosystem is going to self-fund and fuel the creation, trade, consumption, and production of content around the world. And we are eventually going to become the biggest content platform in the world because of the fact that we have the power of blockchain. We have the power of being tokenized, which no other platform has. And you will see eventually that we are going to take over. So there are 5 business lines of MContent. There is MSeed, there is Originals, there is Browse, Trade, and Work. In their individual capacity, each of these business lines is actually a revolution in itself. What we're starting with is 2 business lines, which is MSeed and Originals. And I've explained this before as well. The reason why we're starting in this manner is that there's always a funnel. You do anything in life, you create a product, there's always a funnel. So the funnel here starts with the content, right? Because the other business lines that you see are going to start once we have that funnel rolling. Once we have that content within the funnel is when we are going to start browsing, is when we are going to start trading, is when we're going to start creating the content landscape Upwork, right? You guys all know what Upwork is, right? So Work is like the content Upwork within the digital space powered by blockchain. Trade, all of you know now that blockchain has this amazing capacity to actually tokenize anything and then be able to trade those assets. So same is the case with content itself. Browse is going to be our actual platform. So as you already know, we're launching our beta version very soon. And Browse is like the final platform that you're going to see, which is going to have all those extended capabilities of browsing and consuming content. And there is an entire ecosystem which is being created, which has a lot of monetization aspects to it. All of that will be revealed soon. But the beta version is all about the first 2 parts, especially the first part. The first part is the backbone of our project, which is MSeed, which is the seed fund. You go to our website, you see there's a button that says seed fund applicants. What people do is they click those buttons and then they're able to actually, as content creators, they're able to submit their applications. So what we're trying to do, what is the need that we're trying to resolve? I'm going to talk in detail about MSeed and Originals today, although I can take like hours talking about the other 3 business lines as well. But since this is where we're starting, so you guys need to understand both these needs in detail, right? So the first need that we identified as far as MSeed is concerned is that there are thousands and thousands of content creators around the world who want an audience. These people do not have an audience. The reason why these people don't have an audience is because they have the capability. They have the right ideas. They do not have the platform. They do not have the funds. Everything eventually within the content landscape starts with the funding process. And as hard a truth this is, the reality is that everyone does not have access to investors. Everyone does not have access to funds. I have been a media and marketing professional for almost 2 decades now. I have spoken to content creators around the world. I've spoken to filmmakers around the world, producers around the world. One thing that always comes out, whoever I've spoken to, whoever is successful out there, actors, even actors, big actors, big filmmakers, big celebrities. You ask them what is one thing in their career that gave them a breakthrough, they will always say that there was one investor. There was this one person who was the godfather in their career. Because this guy, when they did not have the money to do their dream project, this guy actually held his or her hand and said, I believe in you. Here is the money. Go produce the project. Once you're done with the project, come back to me and give me a share in your project. There are such godfathers around the world. You talk about any market, when you talk about content, when you talk about film, you will actually discover that these godfathers do exist. But my thought was, when I understood this insight, I realized, why does there have to be one godfather for those content creators? We're living in a digital age. We are living in an age where we're connected globally. We're living in an age where all of us are interconnected using the power of blockchain. Then why does it have to be one godfather? Why can't it be thousands of godfathers? Why can't it be hundreds of thousands of godfathers who actually get to invest in those projects? Because these people come to us. These people will tell us that this is the project they want to work on. And we as investors, as token holders, are going to be able to decide which projects are going to get the investments, which is going to be based on merit and which is going to be based on the merit of that project. This is going to be based on the potential of that project, and that potential will eventually make it happen. It will make it happen for the content creators, the filmmakers. It will make it happen for us as well, because the best investment that we could make is the investment in content, because this is going to grow, and this is going to grow exponentially. So this, just in a nutshell, MCeed is all about giving an opportunity to those who have the capability, but they do not have an audience. And there are two kinds of audiences. One is investors, because they need an audience of investors. And second is an audience of viewers, because they also then need an audience of viewers. One product, we're giving them two audiences at one point in time. And this is our differentiator. This is what's gonna make MContent work, because this is the backbone. If you've read our tokenomics, you understand. I am saying this is the backbone because this is the biggest contributor to the ecosystem that we're creating, is the Content Creators Fund. The second aspect that I will talk about in detail today is the M Originals. So yes, I know people have heard us talk about the fact that the content that you're going to see on our platform on MContent is going to be exceptional. It's going to be exemplary. And we're not just saying it. We will make sure that it happens. Whether it's about the projects that we're going to create ourselves. These projects are going to be truly revolutionary, and I will share some details about these projects with you today, and I can tell you from now that you'll be amazed. So yes, just quickly going through some of the things that you already know, is that the digital currency MContent, which is now launching within very, very few days. It could happen any day now. So this is a deflationary token on Binance Smart Chain. It is associated with the Revolutionary Content Creators Fund. As I've told you, the tokenomics are designed in a way that they're of the overall supply, which is almost 10%, is going to sit in the Content Creators Fund. And then there is a 4% earn on every buy, every sell. All that earn is coming into the Content Creators Fund. So the Content Creators Fund is going exponentially. The bigger this fund is, the more projects we fund. The more projects we fund, the more content we own. The more content we own, the more asset we have. The more asset we have, the more money we make, because this asset is going to be an asset that is going to bring fruit. This is not just a charity that we're doing like many other tokens that you see out there. Every day you see like 20 different projects being launched on Binance Smart Chain. Everyone says charity. What is charity? Charity is giving to someone, you giving to someone just once because they use that amount and it's done. What are we doing? We are selling, we're actually creating hope for people. We're helping them out, yes, but we're not just helping them out like that. We're making sure that these people are actually, after our help, capable of helping themselves. Once we help them by giving them an opportunity to create content using our funds, after that, they will be able to help themselves. We don't need to help them every day. So we are creating employment. We are creating employment for thousands of people. Every filmmaker, every content creator that we fund, there are 20 directly associated families with every project. There are more than 200 extended families that are associated with a project. I've said this before. When one film is made, do you guys know how many people are contributing to that project? How many people are taking salaries or daily wages out of that project? There are almost more than 200 people who are engaged. There are extras, there are cameramen, there are operating staff, there is administrative staff, there are people you know about, but there are so many people you don't know about. And all of these people are taking something from the project. And all these families are being funded because of the project. So imagine when we're talking about creating thousands and thousands of projects using our power, using this power that MContent will have, we will actually be creating creating employment. We will be helping people, but we will be helping them in a way that they will be able to help themselves after that. And that is the revolution that we keep talking about. So is the content revolution, as I said. The reasons why we decided to tokenize this platform which provides seed funding to content creators. This is something we had been working on for a very long time. But when we got some basic understanding of blockchain, we actually realized that it will be stupid not to connect this to blockchain because blockchain is the way forward. Blockchain is what is going to give this scale. If we do it ourselves, we cannot fund thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of content creators, whereas when we create a token, we have this capability to attract investment from around the globe, which creates shared ownership, which means global outreach, and which means that our seed scale becomes much, much bigger. In terms of human capability, what does this do? We bring in combined experience of many decades. This is the core team. But now what has happened is that the core team, which is the core team of marketers, the core team of business professionals, the core team of business investors, the core team of content creators. Now they've coupled up with some blockchain specialists, and we are launching this project. What's happened also is that we have a strong volunteer base. No company in the world, I'm telling you, no company in the world, and I've worked in some of the leading organizations in the world, no company in the world can make people work for them without paying them a salary. MContent right now has a directly employed team of more than 40 people, but you should also know that we now have a team of more than 40 people who work double that hours. In just 4 or 5 days, we've gathered these people and is created a stake for themselves. They are not our employees, but they are stakeholders within the process. So these volunteers are something. These volunteers are something that Netflix does not have. These volunteers are something that YouTube does not have. These volunteers are what's going to differentiate a business that exists within the blockchain space versus a content-driven business that exists in the real space. And you have no idea how passionate these people are. And I have seen their energy, and that's why I know that these are the people who are going to be driving this revolution. There is an automated user base. Again, so the way I'm looking at it, we're going to be, within a month, we're going to be at 200,000 token holders. Do you know what that means? That means that these 200,000 token holders are going to be subscribers on the platform that we're going to launch. Now tell me which content platform in the world actually has the capability to be launched and immediately after their launch have a user base of 200,000 people. This is the power of blockchain. We will have consumption and content monetization from the day we launch. The very first day we will have consumption, we'll have content monetization. That's the power of blockchain. We are in stakeholders for our success. We are creating stake for content creators, filmmakers, YouTubers, artists, musicians, celebrities, token holders around the world. And that is our strength. This is something that other platforms cannot happen. They can only provide a window for people to come and trade their content or come and broadcast their content, monetize that content. But what they cannot do is create a stake for the same people within the entire platform. In our case, our people have a stake within the content. In our case, our people, our holders, they have a stake in the entire platform. And that is exceptional. So yes, let's say hello to the content revolution for the people, by the people, connecting content creators, consumers, and investors. Just to give you an overview of the marketing roadmap that exists right now for this launch, all of you know that we've already done like the biggest billboard in NYC, the digital billboard you've seen already. We have aggressive marketing coming, just for you guys to understand the scale that we're going at. We have billboards planned within the next 3 weeks. We have billboards planned in LA, in London, in Singapore, in Amsterdam, Dubai, Toronto. MContent is not a Binance Smart Chain. Is not a Binance Smart Chain project that gets launched every day. That does not have access. That does not have a corporate entity that exists because of which they cannot advertise on the leading platforms in the world, because of which they cannot advertise on the leading publications in the world, because of which they cannot advertise on the leading billboards and locations in the world. We have that. We are an existing corporate entity, and we are going to make sure, using our financial muscle and using the fact that we have that corporate existence, you will be amazed at the marketing plan that we have. And again, I will let my colleague, who's the head of marketing, Tariq, talk about it in detail. Many of you know him. Many of you have even seen him. Many of you have even gone to his LinkedIn and verified him already. He's got like hundreds of messages already on his LinkedIn. So he will talk about the marketing plan in detail. But just for you guys to understand, that's the scale that we're looking at. We're looking at more than 100 plus montages from mentors and celebrities that are coming our way. We are looking at almost 500 shortlisted applicants, and you're going to be able to see. So there's a concept of an elevator pitch that we've created within MCED. So every participant who's coming into MCED, we require them to create an elevator pitch, which is like a pitch in which they, within like 60 seconds, they need to talk about the project. They need to sell their project to their investor, and their investor is you. So we have 100 plus publications that are putting hype articles about MContent, how MContent is bringing a content revolution around the world. Almost 50 have already been published, by the way. Now, again, these are things that you guys don't know because you guys have not researched the project enough. But almost 50 publications around the world have already covered us. And this includes some of the top publications in different countries around the world. So the phase doxing is already happening. We have more doxing, as I said, happening in in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Hopefully, once we get to 100,000 holders, which is my minimum target for the next 2 to 3 weeks, and you will see that it's going to happen. The day that happens, I announced today that I'm also going to dox myself completely, although many of the team members already know me. But just also for the public, I will make sure that I dox myself the day we hit that 100,000 number. And I think it's going to happen like really soon. In terms of our social media, we have appointed one of the best social media agencies in the world, which is Zenith Optimedia. So you'll see now that the kind of social media that is going to happen from tomorrow on our platforms, you have not seen any entity within the crypto space have such social media presence, because what they're essentially doing is have volunteers run their social media platform, which is great. I love volunteers. But at the same time, when a professional starts doing something, it is different, and you'll see that happening on MContent. So all our socials are already active. You already know that. And this is information which is there on the website. I'm not going to waste time talking about these. You can just go read the website. We'll move on to the real part. And the real part is for you to understand what the MContent's investment landscape is, because we're creating like a monster here, and you guys are comparing us to a normal token, right? Which is wrong. You need to understand that we're trying to create a content revolution. It does not happen like that. This is not a token that you just put in like $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, $50,000 in a liquidity pool. You create like a smart contract. You hire you hire someone to code a contract for you, pay that guy $25,000 and just launch a token within $75,000. This is not that token. I was actually upset yesterday when we to protect our investors, we actually announced a round C, which was like a pre-round prior to our DXL, and some people were, raising concerns, and that made me really upset, because you guys have no idea on the investment landscape that we have right now. Do you know that we've already planned out expenses worth $2 million? These expenses are already done. These expenses are already sourced. Out of that, 30% of the amount is already paid. So the expenses that you see here on this slide, understand that we've already paid 30% of this amount, and the rest of this amount is going to pay it out within the next 4 to 6 weeks. So we've done like a proper setup, legal, audits, operations, $50,000 we're spending on this, on marketing On influencers and mentor signups, a lot of that has already been done. You've seen content, right? You've seen like 16 or 18 shout outs already by different influencers, content creators. $400,000, technical consultants, the tokenomics that we create. We've used the best technical consultants out there in the world. Our contract that we've designed, $100,000. The social media agency and other retainers, $100,000. Promotional content and design. I don't want to go through this entire list actually. So the platform that we're developing, the beta platform itself only costs $400,000. Then there is so much infrastructure and tech. We have already spent 30% of this amount. So just try to digest that in and then stop comparing us to the normal token that gets launched on Binance Smart Chain every day. Because until and unless you do that, you will be unable to assess the potential within this project. Okay, so moving on, this is the roadmap. Again, I'm not going to emphasize on this because it's available on the website. Just go and read through. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory. All the things that we promised to be completed within June are almost done. So I'm not going to get into the details. You can just see. So everything that was promised for June is already done. So yes, so I'm coming to the real part. This is what the presentation today is all about. It is about the content funnel. It is about how we're going to make MC'd and M Originals happen, and how when, some of the moderators on the other day on the voice chat were saying that we are actually going to compete with the biggest players out there, and some people did not believe. So this is where we need to spend most amount of time. This is where you need to understand why we are so confident that we will eventually, not now, not today, but tomorrow, we are going to compete with the biggest players. And this is your opportunity to get into this project and get into this project really early. So what is MC'd? I've already told you. Just for you guys to understand the scale. So we're targeting our first committee to sit at 1,000 applicants. So as soon as we have 1,000 applicants, which we are expecting really soon, within a matter of days, based on the extensive recruitment that is being done and the extensive partnerships that have been struck throughout the world with leading content aggregators, with leading content producers, with leading film schools around the world, you will see that we'll have these 1,000 applications really soon. Out of these 1,000 applications, we are going to select 50 projects that will be fully funded by MContent, completely funded by MContent, and these projects will be started within the next couple of weeks. We have given like a cap, an investment cap of $5,000 for shorts, and by shorts, it could be a short film, it could be a short docu, right? In both categories, any genre, $5,000 is our cap for shorts. And anyone who's into content creation, they understand these terms. They know what shorts is. For feature films, which is like independent filmmakers, these are not feature films that you're talking about. These are feature films that indie filmmakers, independent filmmakers, they make. We have a cap up to $20,000 for that. And again, any genre, any category. Then web series, which is like our favorite. Again, this is for independent content creators. We will be funding up to $200,000 for web series. And this is just phase one. So 50 projects are just phase one. 50 projects are just the projects that we are doing now in this quarter. These are projects that we're funding now. Imagine what is the amount of content that we will be creating and funding in the future. The moment you realize that, the moment you're able to digest that, I'm sure you will know that how lucky you are to be here. Now coming to the M Originals. The M Originals, in my opinion, again, it's what's going to shake the entire content landscape in the world. This is going to shake everyone. It's going to shake Netflix. And I tell you, this is going to shake Netflix because the M Originals are working on a theme. So what we've done is that we have picked up subject areas of focus for our M Originals. What is M Originals? M Originals is the original content that MContent is going to produce. And these are going to be top-notch. These are going to be high-end. These are going to be exceptional. These are going to be international standard. And what we're starting with is our first focus topic. Our first focus topic is blockchain mass adoption. You guys need to understand why we're picking blockchain mass adoption as our first focus topic. And this is what I want to spend like 2 minutes talking to you about. Okay, so I know all of the people here right now, all of the people who are sitting within this AMA right now, who are listening to me, all of you understand blockchain. All of you understand crypto. All of you understand what crypto is all about, right? But you're like less than 1% of the world's population. Do you know that? 99% of the world's population, even today, just does not understand crypto, does not understand what blockchain is, does not understand what we do. They do not understand why we waste our time and our money doing all that we do. Why? Do you know why? Because there is no content that gets created on mass adoption. No one is making a genuine attempt to create content on mass adoption of blockchain, the mass adoption of crypto. Yes, you see a lot of content. You go to YouTube, you go to Twitter, you'll see a lot of content. But what is that content? That is not content. That is people talking about charts, green charts, red charts, analysis. This is not content that the world consumes. This is not content that the masses consume. Masses want to consume entertainment. Masses want to consume fiction. Masses want to consume theater. Masses want to consume genuine music. And all of this is going to be created by genuine content creators. This is not going to be created by a YouTuber who just started his journey on YouTube like 3 months ago because he was one of the early adopters on blockchain. These are not people who are going to bring the rest of the 99% of the world's population to crypto. The people who can bring the remaining 99% of the world's population to crypto are genuine filmmakers, genuine content creators, genuine YouTubers, global YouTubers, global web series producers, global artists. These are the people who are going to create mass adoption, and no one is working on mass adoption. If you ask me, no one is working on mass adoption at that scale. And MContent is going to be the first organization in history that is going to start doing that through our Originals. So we're starting off with 4 projects, and all of them are huge projects that we're starting. All the financial allocations of the MContent originals, of the first four originals, are going to be done according to the concept and production scale. These properties are being directly designed by MContent's Exco and are being presented to the mentors before kickoff. These properties will be developed in collaboration with content creators with proven track records of global scale and expertise. So what we've done already, and you guys will be amazed, is that in 4 different regions of the world, we've already appointed our content aggregators. 4 huge regions of the world, we've appointed our content aggregators. And these aggregators, these production houses that we have appointed, or we're about to finalize as our content aggregators, these production houses are the biggest names that exist in those markets. Right now, believe it or not, MContent is at a level where in each of these regions, we actually have more than 2 production houses that want to be our aggregators. And it is us who's going to decide which of these production companies is going to be finalized. It's not them who's going to choose us, it's us who's going to choose them. And that's how exponentially MContent is growing. It's growing by the day, it's growing by the hour. So this is the slide. I'm pretty sure this will, whoever attends this AMA is going to be talking about this slide for the next 10 years because this slide is going to change a lot that you believe in. So just to give you like a prior, just a pre-talk on this. So one of our core team members, we were having like a meeting like 7 days ago. So one of the core team members who belongs to the crypto space, he's very senior in this space, he asked me, and he said that since we're doing something so big, right, when we're doing something so big, which is at the scale of the Refinable launch, when Refinable was launched, it was very popular. It was the most popular project at that point in time. So he was like, with what we are doing, the idea that we have, we need to have as much hype as Refinable before we launch. I said, I agree, you're right. But he said, but Refinable had a tagline. Refinable had a key outtake because Refinable had Mr. Beast, right? Refinable had a pillar. I said to him, I made it happen. I said to him a week ago that in a week's time, we will have 4 pillars. We will have 4 pillars which are going to be stronger than Mr. Beast. And today we have 4 pillars. I'm going to take you through each of these pillars, and these pillars are actually stronger than that Mr. Beast pillar, and people will forget Refinable when they hear about this. Okay, so as I said, the focus topic is blockchain mass adoption. The first docu-film that we're making, which is, again, when I say MContent, when I say M Original, don't consider this as a project that is being done by a seed fund applicant. You need to understand that this is being done by M Original. This content is going to be done at a scale where the largest content creators in the world operate. That is the scale that we're going to deliver. So the first project of M Originals that I'm announcing officially today, and you will see this move within days, is a docu-series, is a docu-film on World Bank versus El Salvador. The concept here is El Salvador's Bitcoin revolution. This is going to be a 20-minute docu-film shot in South America. All of you know what El Salvador is, and you know the history as well. So obviously these are working titles, by the way. We might be adjusting the titles in the coming days. What is the reason to believe? What is the RTB in this project? A, because this is, the language is the second most popular language from many aspects of content creation, including pop music. The production houses right now that we are shortlisted for this project, and we're speaking to both of them, are top of their line in their category because we need to use a European production house for this. So one of them is Newbie from Netherlands, and the other one is also from Netherlands, which is VR Will. You guys can go and search them online. You'll understand the scale at which we're working on. So just for you guys to understand, we're talking to these people right now. We're very close to finalizing a contract with either of them. These are people who work for the leading platform. These are aggregators who work for platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime. So we're talking serious stuff here. This is not the usual day-to-day business that you see on Binance Smart Chain. By now, all of you who are part of this project, you need to understand that this is not the regular project that you see. You need to treat this with an exception, and only then you will be able to become part of this revolution. The second project, again, it's huge. It's actually a feature film that we're doing. It's going to be the first feature film by M Originals, and this film is called Crypto Sing. On a fiction character that we're creating, and this guy will actually be India's new hero, and it's the story of an entrepreneur from a small village in Punjab, Indian Punjab, and this guy is actually one of the early adopters of Bitcoin. He starts trading Bitcoin back in 2015, and people make fun of him, and then we show his journey of love, his journey of progress, his journey of growth, and we show how he's actually now become the new hero in the new India, and how he's created hope for thousands of tech, fintech, blockchain entrepreneurs in India. Just one individual, who initially started as someone who was being made fun of, and now he's actually India's new hero. So this is the story of Crypto Sing. The shortlisted production houses for this project that we've been working on is Applause Entertainment and Vishesh Films. As I said, go online, search for these production houses, and again, you'll understand what business we mean. What is the reason to believe? Why are we doing this in India? Because our topic is pretty clear. We need to do blockchain mass adoption, and India brings the biggest eyeballs. This is the region that brings the biggest eyeballs to any content project, and that's why we need to start with India. Okay, the third project that we're doing is Africa. And you guys will be so surprised to learn that some of the early applications that we received, actually most of them are from Africa. I don't know why, because I think some of our volunteers are from Africa, maybe 2 or 3 of them, but no one for the core team belongs to the African region. But somehow this idea has attracted so many content creators sitting in Africa that they've applied. So this M Original is about the big boys on the block. And the location that we've finalized is Nigeria. Again, you know that Nigeria is one of the biggest markets when it comes to Bitcoin adoption or blockchain adoption. And that's what we are going to promote. The concept here is crypto boys and their toys. When I say toys, you need to understand it's cars. So yes, again, it's a crazy idea. It's a reality blink format production that we're doing. Region is Africa. And again, the rising crypto economy, as I said, the huge talent market, and how the black market over there in terms of the financial aspect of it, in terms of how money is moved within that market, it's a very interesting story. It's as interesting a story as it gets. So that's the reason to believe in this project. The shortlisted production house that we have at this point in time is Penguin Films. Again, as I said, go search about this production house and you'll understand their capability. So yes, the fourth project is region, Dubai. So where we operate from, where we have like most of our team members, including myself, based. So title is like my dream project. This is like my idea, and some of my friends are gonna make sure that it happens the way I dreamt of it. And this idea is actually called When Lambo. When Lambo is a comedy series. When Lambo is a comedy web series which is around 8 to 10 episodes long. Each episode is going to be 20 minutes. And the reason why we have chosen Dubai is that what we're going to show is that there are 5 friends, 5 different nationalities, 5 traders, all of them are traders, and how they come together. You know, this is their story of coming together during the pandemic, meeting each other online while trading, being part of some communities where they trade different tokens, different coins, different new projects, and they become friends. And when they become friends, their life changes. And their life changes to an extent that they decide to live in the same city. And they, you know, the people who are living outside of Dubai, they fly into Dubai, and now they are living together, and now their life is, because each of them has a crazy personality. Each of them has a defect in their own. Each of them has a character of his own, and all of them are really funny. And their tagline, their punchline, is the punchline of every crypto investor in the world, which is When Lambo. Okay, so amazing project, amazing potential. Who's going to do it? So there's a company called Media Triangle in Dubai that has been shortlisted and in fact finalized to do this project, and they're going to do this in partnership with our friends, some of our early believers, the Arab GT team. You've seen their shout out already. Obviously for Arab GT, it was very important to involve someone like them in the project, because for this project we need lots of cars, we need lots of supercars, and they have all of them. So yes, so 4 projects, 4 statements, 4 revolutions, all these projects, as I said, something that the world of blockchain has never seen. And I can tell you, the day the first promo of any of this project comes on, even leave the promo, because usually, when you talk about serious production, even the first promo takes a lot of time. But the first sign up, the first news, the first official signing that is going to come out any day now, when we sign with that production company, when we sign the talent, when we sign the director, when we sign the writer, all of these signings are going to come, and they're going to come on every press outlet that and that is going to give you all those X's that you're looking for. The core team here and investors are not looking for X's. They're only looking for a beautiful project that is going to revolutionize this content landscape that exists throughout the world. So just for you to understand, we're not here for the X's, but I know a lot of you are here for the X's. So just realize every announcement for these 4 projects that comes in is going to lead to, if you ask me, is going to lead to a minimum 20x. So 20x after 20x after 20x, you'll get all the X's that you need. I think this is more X's than you have imagined ever in your life. And we are going to make it happen, because we are on a different direction altogether. This is a direction that no one has taken ever before. Okay, so I've given you a lot, by the way, for today. But still, I think there's more. So what's the curation process? MC is also essentially important. We can't just be giving away our funds to anyone and everyone, because the content, the product that is being created, that product is being co-owned by you. That product is being co-owned by MContent. So we need to make sure that there is a certain curation process. There is a certain quality check on everything that gets produced. So we are defining like the most extensive curation process that you will ever see. It's like a detailed SOP document that is publishing within the next 48 hours. We have quality controls to the level where the Exco is managing directly everything with the mentors. We have already appointed 5 content aggregators, as I've told you. I've told you about 4. The 5th one is like coming very soon. And again, it's a very interesting market. I'll reveal more details later. The contracting is being done by an entire team of legal experts. We are making sure that the IP ownership stays with MContent, because this is your asset, this is your property. So the IP ownership is going to stay with us for all the projects, because we're completely funding every project. But having said that, we are creating a revenue monetization model for the content creators, where they will make a lot on their time investment and on the effort that they're making. So we're going to make sure that these people also take a lot out of the projects that they're working on. We're not just going to give them the amount that they asked for, but they're also going to get a lot on top of their initial allocation. So the FAQs, which are going to answer many of your questions, are going to be published tomorrow within the next 24 hours. And once you read the FAQs, I think even our FAQ document is going to be better than and we call it an FAQ. So just for you guys to understand, our frequently asked questions are going to be published in the form of a document, which is going to be better than the white papers that you see 99% of the times on any of these projects that you invest in. So just telling you about the seriousness of the effort here. So as I said, now this is the part for you to understand, because you guys think this is a joke, right? So the amount that we are investing onto 50 projects on MSeed is $1 million, right? The amount that we are investing on the M Originals, the 4 projects, is around $3 million. So we need around $4 million to be raised for only for these 53 projects. And this is the amount that needs to start rolling right now. This is the content funnel of MContent. And this is what we're working towards. And we are not depending on the community here. What we expect from the community is to grow this community. What we're asking you for, the reason why we're giving you all of these profits that you're already in, you guys are already in a lot of profit. Why we're giving you all of these profits is because we want this community to grow. Your responsibility is not to bring in the funding. They're handling that. The professionals that are here working on MContent, they are the ones who are bringing in the funds. They will make sure that the funds keep coming in. We will ensure that your investment is protected. What you need to do is that you need to grow this community, because the power of this idea fundamentally does not grow unless and until the community grows exponentially. And that is what we need from you. So again, a big news that I'm giving you now on the next slide, and I'm pretty sure that you guys will be jumping off your seats once you see the next slide. So $4 million we needed, right? Okay. So out of this $4 million, we have already raised $2 million. We have raised $2 million in the last 48 hours from our private and institutional investors. And again, we have given you a big gift, because the gift for you is that the rate at which we have sold them the tokens for these $2 million of worth of investment is the same rate that you see on round C. So just for you to understand, there was a round B of pre-sale, there was a round A of pre-sale, and then there's a round C of pre-sale. Some people were saying that, round C is already expensive. But just for you to understand, the biggest chunk of investment is not coming from Binance Smart Chain. The biggest chunk of money is actually coming from the real world, real investors, real institutions. And this is $4 million that is going to come in, out of which $2 million is already arrived. And that $2 million is being sold at the rate of 1 BNB is equal to 250 billion tokens, which is the rate where round C is operating. So, and these are people who are not going to buy 1 BNB or 2 BNB or 4 BNBs or 6 BNBs. So the minimum investment for the private investors and the institutions is $100,000, which is going to lead them to a purchase of 70 trillion tokens. And you will be surprised at how the private investors and institutions are flowing into this opportunity, having heard about the M Originals, having heard about what we're doing. These people are just blindly putting their money into this project because they believe in the team, they believe in the effort, they believe in the idea, and they believe in this platform. So just for you to understand, now again, this stat should blow you apart, because if this happens, if we are able to reach the 4 million target, which I know we will, what that means is that 2.8 quadrillion tokens, which is like 30% of the total original supply, and which is almost 50% of the remaining supply, because we've already, so almost 50% of the circulating supply is going to be invested on at this rate, which is the current rate. So am I wrong in telling you that this rate is the new floor? Should you then be worried about what the rate is right now? Because these investors are not going to sell for anything less than 10x, because these are private investors and these are institutions. They're not here to make like $10,000 on their investment of $100,000. They're looking for big gains. And they're in this because they believe in the idea. They're not in here just to make a few $1,000s. They're here because they understand the potential of this idea as a whole and this platform as a whole. And that's why they're investing big time. So again, now I know because I've been into, I've been an investor myself for the past 2-3 months. I'm very new to the crypto space, but I understand some of the psyche. So I know that now some of you are thinking, oh, but wait, 70 trillion tokens, one investor is going to have, what happens if they sell? So here's your answer on the next slide. What are we doing? For institutional and private investors, we are taking some serious anti-dump measures, which means that the tokens are going to be locked. The disbursement period is over 5 months. So starting from day one, they're going to get 20% allocations per month from the total tokens that they buy. The remaining is going to be locked on DX lock, and it's only going to be accessible to them based on the monthly allocation that gets distributed to them, which basically means that on day one, any of these private investors or institutional investors who has invested a minimum of $100,000 will only have 14 trillion tokens. Now, how amazing is that, right? Because we've been able to strike that balance where their investment is also protected. They will see that their tokens are locked on DX lock, so they know that everything is safe. And at the same time, we're protecting our market cap because this is the best anti-dump measure that we can take. In any case, these people will now not sell because $100,000 in hand is only going to give them 14 trillion tokens. And they will be stupid to sell that and impact the market because for them, anything less than 10x at that level is not going to be acceptable. So yes, so lock tokens to be placed on DX Locker. The soft cap, as I said, for the institutional and private round is $4 million. This money is not coming in through Binance Smart Chain. This money is coming through the real world, as I've explained to you, and we will keep updating you on the allocations that are happening while the sales is being done, and progressively the sales is being done. And you will see that, these private investors are going to get their allocations in the form of tokens, and the tokens will start getting distributed to their wallets as well. Because with these investors, we know that they are not from this space, so they're going to act like we tell them. So any disbursement that goes to their wallet, they're going to make sure that they don't place those disbursements or those tokens onto the LP, which is the risk that we face, which is the reason why we're not distributing your tokens to you right now, which is the reason why we're going to distribute your tokens on the day of launch, right before, 2 to 3 minutes before PCS launch, so that we don't risk that face of anyone, we don't have that risk of anyone actually going and by mistake putting those tokens on the LP, because that could be detrimental to the project. But with these people, we're not worried because these people are institutional investors. So we're going to start their disbursement as promised to them within the phases, as you see, which is like a 5-month period. Okay. Now, what are the anticipated ROIs that we have promised to these private investors? Now, you also need to understand how we look at our project. We also need to understand how the private investors are looking at this project, right? So the investment cycle that we're looking at in terms of the anticipated ROIs for the private investors, starting with a market cap of $100 million, because that's like the $100 million is the minimum mark that this project is going to go to. And you also need to understand that associated with each of these market caps is a content pool, because the bigger the market cap is, the higher percentage is going to come into the content pool, because the more buy and sell transactions are going to come in, the bigger percentage goes into the content pool. So imagine if we reach a market cap of $1 billion, which is the third row here, by that time we will have 30% in the content pool, which is like 30% of the total supply, total original supply is going to sit into the content pool. And when you eliminate all those tokens that would have been burned by then, because we're doing a lot of manual burn as well, so you'll actually be talking about somewhere around $500 million sitting in the content creators pool. Now, imagine what we can do with $500 million. How much content can we create? How many films can we produce? How many content creators can we actually contribute towards changing their lives? We can do thousands. We can do hundreds of thousands. And that's what we're looking at. So token price, again, this is just a fundamental structuring sheet that you guys can review later. This pitch deck will be available on our website as well. You can read the numbers later, but I think, to be honest, in the 3-month period, because we're only giving them like within the first 3 months, we're only giving them 50% of their tokens. So even then, within 3 months, the minimum ROI that they could expect is 5x, whereas over a period of 6 months, they could expect a minimum ROI of 10x. If you ask me, holistically, the summary that has been shared with all of these institutional and private investors is that they could be looking at anywhere around 200x to 400x on their investment. And when I say 200x to 400x on their investment, it is from the current price. It is from the price that is being offered to round C investors. So yes, I'm sure you're amazed by the numbers, and I believe that should be reflected. You're amazed. If you are amazed, that should be reflected in how fast the hard cap is being filled right now in our round C, and I think it's happening. My team is just telling me, which is again phenomenal. Anyways, to be honest, this is a bonus for all of you guys at this stage. Moving on, we'll just quickly cover the fact that okay, one of the important things that you guys need to understand, and the moderators will be also talking about this in detail on the chats if you want, that pre-sale rounds A and B were done at a much lower price, especially pre-sale round A, right? We have to take some anti-dump measures for all of you guys as well. We have the first anti-dump measure that we have is the smart contract actually ensures that more than 1% of the market cap cannot be bought or sold in a single transaction. We're also creating like a disbursement period of 7 days, which means that on launch, right before launch, you'll get 50% of the tokens that have been reserved for you, and 50% of the tokens that have been reserved for you will be dispersed to your wallet on the 7th day. So you're not going to get 100% of your tokens on day 1 if you belong to pre-sale round A and B. You're going to get 50% of your tokens on day 7. What this means is that the maximum holding that any holder will have on day 1 is 1.8 trillion tokens, which means that they will not be able to dump this market, which is very, very essential, because you do understand that this is a ledger project and we need to take some measures to ensure that there is no unnatural dump within the market. The tokens that are locked for those 7 days will be placed on DX Locker, as I said, and anyone can go view them. This is completely transparent like everything else that we're doing. So yeah, again, if anyone feels, even after what all we've told you, feel that no, this process has changed here because initially you did not tell us that 50% of our tokens will be locked for 7 days, you need to understand, guys, please understand that this is a revolution. I keep saying this is a revolution, and when a revolution happens, things change every few hours. As long as the things that are changing are for the betterment, and as long as you understand that the intentions are clear, you have to trust the process. You have to trust the team, and you do not have to create panic out of the positive changes that we're making. Again, if you still feel, and I'm saying this very, very openly, the entire team already has the instructions. If you still feel that no, you were expecting your tokens to be distributed to you on day 1, all 100% of them, you're not satisfied with this decision that we're making, you have the option for a refund. All you need to do is just write to any of the mods, and the mods will make sure that your wallet addresses are sent to the operations team. The operations team is going to make sure that your investment is returned to you in BNBs within the next 5 minutes. So we'll take just 5 minutes to return your investment. Anyone who's concerned about this lock period of 7 days for 50% of what you have reserved, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to refund your investment. Okay, so I think I've covered that. Lastly, you need to know what's coming. So obviously the launch is coming. We haven't announced the launch date right now because, again, you see today the market is very volatile. We need to choose the right day for our launch. And also, I personally believe that if we can, before launch, complete that fundraising of $4 million that we're doing for these projects, then this platform and this project is only meant for glory after that. So I'm also trying to, and the entire core team is also trying to complete those private and institutional investments before we launch, because that's going to give you guys a strong price floor. So if the project is being delayed by 2 days or 4 days or 7 days, you need to understand that this is for your betterment, because if we are able to sell all of those tokens at this price point, that means you're getting a floor. And anyone who has been part of round A or round B is already at a guaranteed profit, whereas anyone who's entering in round C also due to get a guaranteed profit, because these private investors and institutional investors, they are not going to sell anywhere near a 2x or a 4x or a 5x. So from here, they are going to be looking at a minimum of 10x. I can guarantee you that. So this delay is actually for the better. And all of you need to understand that. So what's coming next? The beta version, as I said, which will have MC fully functional, is coming up. There are massive mentor signups that are happening. There are massive influencer signups that are happening. We'll be doing some huge reveals in the coming days. There are some historic token burns. As soon as we launch, you will see some historic token burns that you've never heard of are going to be done on a daily basis here. The team will be doxing very soon. The remaining team members, you already have 4 team members who dox, but you'll see that some more team members are going to dox over a period of time. So basically, just to give you a summary on what's coming after launch. So the first 14 days of our launch, we will give you every 12 hours. I commit to you that every 12 hours, there will be a timer on our Telegram groups. There will be a timer on our Discord groups, on our social media. Every 12 hours, you're going to get one mega news. Every 12. Every time that 12-hour counter is going to go out, you're going to get a mega news. Every time that counter is going to go out, you're going to get a mega news. We will make sure that this market only keeps pumping, not because we are here to make money, but because we love you all already, and we want to make sure that we are able to together create like the strongest community ever that has happened within the crypto space. And we need to make sure that out the content that we've been claiming. That's it precisely from my side, but I want to end with a quote from one of my favorite writers. And this is something, more of a thought that I believe in. So all of you should also know that, I'm a believer. I belong to the Muslim religion, and I respect all religions, but at the same time, I believe in this divine force. So there is a quote that I really like, and I've done like an adaptation of that quote in my own language. What that quote says is that if you believe in something from the bottom of your heart with a good intention, all the divine forces in the universe will actually start working together to make it happen. And this is exactly what is happening here. It's only been a month since we've started working on this project. It's only been a week since we are here with this community on Telegram, on Discord. It's only been a week. All I see happening is that all the divine forces in the universe are actually trying to make it happen for us. Everything is coming together. So many volunteers